Here in Tampa, Florida, at the Grand Hyatt Hotel, morning after the Tampa Pro. I have some time before the Muscle Vodka party starts. I'm all packed. So I figured, hey, if you guys have any questions for me, anything at all, regarding the Tampa Pro show, regarding anything at all, here I am for you. So I know a lot of people would want to argue about the winner of the show. And Phil Clahar looked phenomenal, guys. I've known Phil. This is probably about the 6th or 7th time I've seen Phil compete. Guy's a workhorse. He just keeps grinding, keeps getting better and better. And he's 47 years old. I take my hat off if I had a hat to Phil Clahar. Big props to Phil. He could have easily been disheartened and quit. A couple weeks ago in Chicago, he got third call out. He didn't look that much worse. He definitely tightened up for the Tampa show yesterday, but 2 weeks ago, he didn't look bad. He didn't look like he should have been the third call out. So, props to him and his wife, Patty, Team Clahar on Instagram for persevering, not giving up, because, this sport can be a real marathon, not a sprint. And sometimes it's the people who just keep going and keep getting better and better because, if the judges aren't looking at you, what do? You just get better and better until the next time they have to take a good look at you. They have no choice because you're that good. Phil was that good yesterday. Man. So he's, like I said, this guy's pushing 50. Who gets better at that age? He turned pro, I think, at age 42. So he's a little late to the game. But congratulations to him. Of course, congratulations to Ian Valliere, Ian certainly brought an excellent package to the stage. 260 pounds, what's this I probably said? Yeah. Ian, was it the best Ian I've ever seen? Size-wise, yeah. I've seen him tighter at the Olympia last year where he was 7th place. But you know what? I see it a lot with these shows where guys qualify where I don't think it's intentional, but they come in at around 90 to 95% of their absolute best. And that's good enough to win and good enough to get to the Olympia. And then they really push hard for the Olympia because it's tough. Anyone who's peaked for a contest knows, especially if you've ever hit that type of condition with the glutes in and the dry crispiness everywhere, it's brutal. It's very tough mentally and physically. So to do that 7 weeks apart twice, oh, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys watching all the coverage. These shows, I'm a homebody. I don't like to leave home. Maybe it's because I'm older now. I don't know. But it's still exciting to get out to the shows. Guys placing. So I don't know where Guy placed. I didn't look at the score sheets. He didn't make top 10. He did not return to the finals. We're talking about Guy Cisternino in the 212. Guy is one of the best 212 bodybuilders the division's ever had. Was he last? He didn't deserve last. He didn't look that bad. It's just I've seen guys so much better. You're welcome, guys, for the thanks for coverage. I've seen Guy much better. Guy at his best definitely would have pushed for the win in this show. I mean, not take away from Kareth, but Guy Cisternino at his best he used to come in an insane condition. He's not the biggest guy, doesn't have the prettiest shape, but it's one of those things where he puts it all together. He has a good amount of muscle. He typically gets into excellent condition, but yesterday was not Guy Cisternino's day. Second time, Mr. Olympia, Big Rami, yeah. Steve Laureus is watery. Some say he's a bit more fat to shred. I don't know if that was water or fat. Like I said, he wasn't really off, but he didn't look as good as he looked. The best I've ever seen Laureus was 2019 Arnold Classic when he took second to George Peterson. And because I like that, for Classic, I like that type of structure and shape. I had Steve winning that show over George, even though George is phenomenal in his own right. But I always felt George Peterson belonged in 212 bodybuilding, not in Classic. And we see how well he's done already. He won his first show in 212, and he went to the Olympia and took third again in 212 division, a division he had never been at the Olympia in before. He took second only to Sean Clarita and Kamal El-Gardni, so George is no joke. But Steve, I don't know. He wasn't in the condition I was hoping to see, because in that type of condition, not to take away from this young German guy who I think is phenomenal, but I think Steve at his best would have won that show. He's just got an incredible structure and shape. His waist is so tiny. Lats flare out, shoulders flare out, quad flare, outer quad sweep, which I'm a big stickler for. When I don't see that, I get, I say needs more quad sweep. Steve also needs a little bit more front to back thickness. he's got great limbs. Milos said this. I'm stealing Milos's observation, but great limbs, awesome arms, awesome legs. Chest and back could be thicker for sure. I don't know how much difference that would make, but we're at the highest levels here. Steve's still. I assume he's going to go to Texas next week. Try to get into the Olympia, get some more points, or hopefully a win. Obviously, I think he probably needs a win at this point because there's other guys in Classic that are leading in the points. He would need a few more shows. But yeah, and you know what? I want to give another shout out to third place in the Open, Charles Griffin. Very impressive. I even had him second place. Who won bikini was Isa Pacini. Favorite body part hand exercise. He switched coaches. Laureus. Laureus just switched from Neil Hill recently to Phil Viz. I don't know. You can't. It does take time for coaches to learn someone's body. When you have all these variables, food, water, carbs, flying, all that stuff, it does take typically more than one show to get it right. Like good example is Ian Valliere. His coach now is Patrick Tour. I can't even remember who he had before. I don't know if it was Aceto. I honestly can't remember who his coach was before, but their first show together was, I believe it was Tampa Pro last year when he took second to Hunter. And, was it Jansen? Team Jansen? Okay. Because Boston Lloyd says he needs to go back to Camp Creep. And I don't know, who's Creep? Why does he call him Camp Creep? Boston, you're so brutal to all these coaches, dude. So their first show together, Patrick tried to dehydrate him as you do with most people, and most people that works to an extent. Ian just got really flat. Muscles weren't pushing against the skin, so he ended up taking second to Hunter. And then 3 weeks later, he came back to Tampa for the New York Pro. Remember, everything's in Florida now, pretty much. Drank tons of water. I mean, his normal amount of water, I should say. Didn't dehydrate, no diuretics. He looked so much better, and he won that show. Joel Thomas. Joel was seventh place. Joel looked really good. Yeah, Joel looks better than what I remember him from a couple years ago. Ian won by straight first yesterday, not even 100%. You don't have to be 100% if you're the best guy on stage that day, and that's what the judges decided he was. It's a subjective sport, and we can argue about that all day, that maybe Phil should have won. I mean, there's people in the comments saying Max Charles, fourth place, he should have won. Charles Griffin, I don't know, I haven't heard too many arguments for him winning, although I thought Charles looked really, really good. Charles has this incredible, just dense, thick physique, great shape and structure. Just standing in the front relaxed. It's a very powerful, rugged physique. Huge arms, legs, they're good. They don't match those awesome arms. It's going to take a little more time for that, but his back was just so wide, thick, a lot of detail. Charles could have been a little bit sharper. I think it would have helped him, but I don't know. On this day, it was Ian and Phil. Ian and Phil were battling it out, and like I said, anytime it's close like that, people will say this guy was robbed, and it's your opinion, and your opinion is your opinion. Ian gets better and better each show. Can't wait to see him at the O. Yeah, making Canadians proud. He's definitely doing that. Who do I add winning personally? Why? I still give it to Ian, and no disrespect to Phil. Ian just had so much going for him. He's so wide. Not that Phil isn't wide, but man, steroid cycle Chris Bumstead, Shaquille Khan. Are you asking me to give you Chris Bumstead's steroid cycle? I don't know what he takes for steroids. You can ask him, and maybe he'll tell you. I don't know. Yeah. It can't. I don't think it's much. I tend to think. I don't think Chris uses much at all. I really don't. He does not have that look. I know what people look. I've been around this sport now for 30 years, and I know what it looks like. The skin, the face, the eyes. I know what it looks like when someone's on a large amount of steroids, and Chris has never had that look. He's always looked fresh, healthy. I know he's young. He's only 26 years old with 2 Olympia titles, but I don't think Bumstead uses much at all. Certainly, I guarantee some of the people who talk shit about him, these guys that don't even compete, the keyboard warriors, I guarantee a lot of you guys are on way more. Phil got robbed. There you go. I guarantee a lot of you guys are on way more steroids than Chris Bumstead. But, you don't have those genetics, so you're never going to look like that. Did Guy only do the prejudging? Yeah, he never showed up for the finals. Was Ian soft in person, Gabriel? No, he was not soft. The live stream, it's 4K and it's this and that, but it's not, you don't see the same amount of detail on the live stream as you do sitting there in person. And, the high-res pictures are up on our gallery now on musculardevelopment.com. if you go to contests, it'll have all the pictures uploaded from Men's Open, and you could see the detail and stuff. He could have been a little drier, but no, he was not off at all. Amanda, I like him better each time. Yeah, he'll look better at the Olympia. Like I said, I don't know if it's consciously or subconsciously, but most of these guys, when they qualify with a win, they're not 100%. They're somewhere between 90 and 95, and they save that ultimate shredded, dry, crispy look for the Olympia because most people can't hit that twice within a month or two. Ian has a forearm tattoo, looks cool. That helps him win, no. Kuklo versus Ian next week. Who do you like? Hadi Chupan #1. Iran. Yeah, you guys make some awesome bodybuilders over there. I believe the women's bodybuilding winner, Mona Poursaleh. It sounds like a Persian name. I think she was Persian. Guy needs to retire. I don't know. I don't know if Guy's body is finally giving up on him. He's only like 36. He's not that old. But he's been bodybuilding quite a while. I don't know. I don't know what the issue with Guy was. And like I said, he didn't look bad. It's just I've seen him look a lot better. And I don't know if he's had a lot of bad luck. I mean, this is a guy that got stung on the penis by a bee in his backyard last year or the year before. So, I mean, he's had some obstacles. I just had to bring that up because it was so ridiculous. Selling meat. I don't know. I don't know if that was a part 2 of some other comment or question that you made. Yeah. Sometimes with these I say older. Mike's selling. There you go, Mike, selling meat. Yeah. Sometimes the body does stop responding to the gear, to the training. It just stops responding, and you don't have that full pop to the muscles anymore. I certainly see that in myself. I'll be 52 next month, but these guys, you notice it more because you've seen them at their best, and you know what they look like. Like Rolly Winkler a couple weeks ago in Chicago. If you saw Rolly by himself and you didn't know what he normally looks like, you'd be very, very impressed. Hadi Chupan, yeah. Hadi and Rami, no matter what I'm talking about, Hadi and Rami always come up. You guys are awesome fans. Don't worry about Guy. He's fine. He'll make a living. Just want to thank you. Oh, you're welcome very much. Thanks, man. Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about Guy. Guy's a hustler. He always has contracts. He's a hard worker. He'll be fine. It's a little bit of a bummer because he is that. I've seen him so good so many times. I wanted to see that again. And like I said, he's had bad luck. I remember one year at the New York Pro, he had this horrible, like a rash, a skin condition that he had to go to the hospital for. He didn't make it to the night show for that. Guy's had some bad luck. He's overcome a lot of obstacles. He was never supposed to be a pro. He was never supposed to be a good pro. Yeah. Competing, yeah, but you know what? Competing is it's such a small part of the income for most of these guys. Most of these shows, they're $10,000 prize for the open winner. I think Kareth got $10,000 for winning 212 yesterday, but it might have been $5,000. So, what can you say about the Texas Pro lineup? No, the lineup will be out. Typically, they don't put the lineup out until Monday. Used to be in the morning. Now, sometimes late afternoon. So, if you go to ifbbpro.com, the homepage, there's like a rotator on the top where the new shows, upcoming shows, they'll be in there and they'll slide over. Until it says competitor list on there, it won't be up. But tomorrow, some point in the day, probably later in the afternoon, they'll put out the Texas list. Because I don't know who's going in, other than we know Ian's going to Texas. He wants to win another show. Kuklo is the heavy favorite. Obviously, I mean, he looks phenomenal. Can Ian beat Kuklo? I don't know, man. I don't know. Can he? Anything's possible. I've seen everybody I've seen Cutler eventually got beat. I've seen Phil Heath eventually got beat. Ronnie. I saw everyone except Dorian because he left before that. Ben Chow won Labrada show. Yeah, I like Ben a lot. Good dude. Happy for Baggio. Disappointed with Jewett placing. Yeah. John looks amazing by himself, and he looks amazing on stage. It's hard for him. He's not a huge guy, and some of these guys have so much more thickness and fullness to the muscles. It's not a conditioning show. If it was a pure conditioning show, I think Jewett would have won 5 or 6 pro shows by now, easily. He's got one win. Predict the top 10. It's always impossible to predict the top 10. Always. Because you expect certain people to look amazing, and then sometimes they don't. And then sometimes there's people you weren't expecting anything from, and they're the ones that knock it out of the park. You're like, wow. Max can't seal a win for the life of him. He won this show a few years ago. Max has a few pro wins. I think he won Romania. I want to say he's got like 4 pro wins already, but he's been like second, third, fourth many times. He's got a lot of top 5 finishes. Who had the better performance, Hunter or Ian? Oh, Hunter's a much better poser. There's no debate about that. Ian needs to work on his posing. I just did an interview with Giles for MD Global, which is going to be a little late this week, I think, but we talked about that. Yeah, but Ian needs to work on his presentation posing. It can be better. Hunter's is pretty damn great because his dad was, I consider Lee Labrada one of, if not the best posers of all time. You get what I mean? This is Caucasian dry conditioning. Oh, that word Caucasian. They're going to ban that word soon. Shaban. Yeah. Shaban looked good. His legs were hard as nails. Upper body, there were some areas where it just didn't look wasn't that lean. Like he hits his side chest, and I want to see like more separation between the biceps and the triceps, more delt separation. I'm a big fan of deep, clear muscle separation, and the most impressive guy in the top 5 in that aspect was Phil Clahar. Max has that too. Max has really clean, deep separation between the muscle groups. But I don't see enough. I'd want to see more of that with Shaban. Shaban's got a hell of a physique. He's so much muscle, very good shape and structure. Will Nick beat Hunter and Ian, do I think? Yes. My opinion, Nick Walker, yeah. And I always have to say this because guys get so butthurt. It's not a personal thing. It's never personal. There's guys over the years I've not liked them at all. They were, I knew things about them. I knew they were horrible human beings. But if they had great physiques, I always gave them credit for the physique. And on the other hand, there's guys that I love to death. I think they're the salt of the earth, wonderful, awesome human beings, great people, people you love to have as friends. Physique, pretty flawed, and I have to talk about that. What do I think is the issue with Hassan? Should he change coaches? I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. Chris Aceto's his coach. Chris has an excellent track record. He's had several Olympia champions. So I don't know if it's Chris's fault or what's going on with him. Nick, small frame compared to Hunter, he just packs so much muscle, yeah. Yeah, Nick Walker, very impressive. I'm really looking forward to seeing Nick Walker at the Olympia this year. I think he's going to make a statement. I don't think top 6 is out of the question. I don't think he's going to do better than that the first time. But you know what? Your first Olympia, top 6 is pretty damn great. Can Nathan Asha and James Hollingshead do damage at the Olympia? Out of the 2, I would go with Hollingshead. I think Hollingshead is going to surprise a lot of people this year at the Olympia. He's looking so massive, so round. Conditioning at this point, and he's still got 7 weeks to go. He's very close condition-wise already. I like his physique a lot. Slavo Bednar. Slavoj Bednar, he looked really good, but this was a tough lineup. He made top 5 in Chicago, but this was a tougher show. We just got John Conte. My husband was in the NPC show over 60, the only guy really. Top 5 at the so someone was just commenting, why was there only one over 60 guy in an NPC show? How many guys over 60 want to compete, or, maybe that's when I'll come back. I'll make my comeback in 8-9 years when I'm over 60. Yeah, Nathan has a hell of a physique. I'm not taking anything away from Nathan to Asha. James just has a quality to the muscle, a real dense, rugged, Dorian type of look. I'm a fan of both of their physiques. I happen to think I like James's physique a little bit better. That's just my personal opinion, though. Think anyone can now be top 5 in Olympia from 1998? Do I miss competing? Every damn day I do. Every damn day. No, you know what? I'm going to ignore all the other questions just to address this. I'm not competing, but I hadn't been in shape since 2013. My last 2 shows I did Team Universe over 40, which was all one weight class. There were 25 of us, and I placed 5th at 205 pounds, and the winner was 280 pounds. 3 out of the 4 guys that beat me in that show were pros by the end of that month, July 2013. So anyway, I haven't seen what my body looks like, and I know I've had my shoulders gone downhill in a major way since then. I wanted to see what I look like in shape. I didn't go all the way. I didn't diet down all the way to contest condition, but I got to about, let's say 85% of it, enough to see what I look like, because I want to make sure, has my body gone downhill? Do I look significantly worse than I did in 2013? Because if I did, I would not come back. I would never get on stage again. I don't want to be that guy. Training video you do with Jose, mock videos, yeah. So I said, if I can't look presentable, if I can't look decent, respectable, I'm not competing ever again, because I'm not going to humiliate myself, because I'm in the public eye, you know. Even if I looked really good, I'd still get trolled. You know, I have a very flawed physique. I'm well aware of that. I could pick my own physique apart for days. Clean shaven at the Olympia, more favorable. I don't think it matters. I don't think the facial hair matters, unless you had a big bushy beard. That would probably detract. But a clean tight beard, like Hadi Chupin has, like Ian usually has. No, Ian shaves for the shows. What am I saying? But no, Bumstead had the. Didn't he have a beard, or just had a mustache? I don't think it matters. You know, the only thing that probably detracts is if you have a ton of tattoos. Like if, you know, full sleeves like I have, probably not the greatest thing for bodybuilding. When I see a full back piece on a bodybuilder, I'm like, it just hides. It does hide some of the detail. You can't really see all the detail in the muscles that you should if you got a lot of ink. It's kind of graffiti, you know. I didn't care, because I was never. My goal was never to be like a top pro. Would I love to turn pro? Of course I would. Of course I would. But I'd be a terrible pro. I know that. Fair enough, Ron. We all pick apart our own physique, yeah. And also, I want to think, not only did I want to see what it looked like, I want to see what can I possibly improve on at this stage of my life to make a better impression on stage next time. Because, you know, I've been beaten. I've been beaten because of things like my arms not being big enough, probably my waist being a little wide. Can't do anything about my waist. I do want to take an off season. I'll stay in decent shape. Hold all your questions, because I'm not even reading them at this point. But please come as soon as I say resume. Yeah, because I don't want to miss your questions, guys. And I don't have them. It's on a computer screen where I can go back to them. But yeah, I want to work really hard on my arms this off season. I'm not going to get out of shape at all. I'm going to stay pretty lean. I'm going to stay. I don't know what my body fat is now. A little higher than when I got to Tampa, that's for sure. But because I've been eating crap. You kind of have to if you're going to be stuck in a press pit and you can't eat real food for hours and hours. Yeah, so I'm going to work real hard on my arms, try to get my shoulders back. And, you know, full disclosure, I've said this, I've lost, because I have severe arthritis and I need a full shoulder replacement, I can't do overhead presses with free weights anymore, and that used to be my thing. Man, did I love that shit. I used to do shitty form because I was leaning back, but I used to do 315 on barbell military press all the time. It was leaning back. It was more like a high incline, to be honest with you, but I did it. Dumbbells, I used to do 130s. A couple times I did 140s. I have videos on my own YouTube channel, Ron Harris Muscle. I got one where I did 120s for, I think it was 14 reps. I used to do one. Anyway, the point I'm making is I lost about, I want to say 50% of my shoulders from what they used to be. My shoulders used to be significantly bigger and rounder than they are now. I did start using GH February 17th this year, so it's now been, it's been almost full 6 months. Only on 4 I use. I do it at night before I go to bed. I'm not an expert, so don't ask me how to use GH. Ask Dr. T. I'm not an expert. I just know what works for me. So I was able to get back some, I don't know, I want to say like 30% of the mass is back. I have to attribute it to the growth hormone, because I haven't changed anything else. I'm still using, I have to press with machines. I can't press with free weights anymore. This arm I could, but, you know, unfortunately you got to press with 2 arms, right? So yeah, I've got about 40% of my delt mass back. I want to get more of that back, because my waist is not the smallest. It used to be. I actually made a post on Instagram, Ron Harris Muscle, my Instagram, a couple weeks ago, showing a picture of me at age 25 on one side of my son at age 21. And he's got a tiny little waist, and I see at 25, I had a very small waist too. My waist, when I dieted down, used to be about 29. You know, that's pretty small, I mean, for me, because I haven't seen a 29-inch waist in many, many years, I guarantee you. So, yeah, I definitely blew my waist out over the years from just overeating and gear. Not even growth. I wasn't using growth or insulin. Hard time getting cannonball delts. Yeah, I had cannonball delts for years and years. That was definitely one of my, you know, my 3 best body parts for many, many years were chest was always good. It always grew pretty easily for me, even though I couldn't bench press for shit. I'm a horrible always was a horrible bench presser with a barbell. Dumbbells, I was pretty good. Machines, obviously, could load those up, but do a show around next year. For me to do a show, it would have to be, I would have to make sure I wasn't doing this, covering a contest for like, say, 6 weeks before the show minimum, because I have to be 100%. Like I said, I know I have a very flawed physique. I'm not the biggest guy. I don't have the prettiest shape at all. I can get into great condition. I think that's anyone can do that. If you're really disciplined, dedicated, willing to suffer, you can get into great condition. Anybody can. But come back with Lee Priest. Lee was better than me when he was like 14, 13. Yeah, Lee's a genetic marvel, man. No, I wouldn't even. We're not even the same species. I joke about the guys, the pros sometimes. I call them mutants, but they really are mutants if you think about it, because I can spot a genetic freak. I can walk into a gym with 200, 300 people on the workout floor, and if there's only one or two people, usually there's only like one. Sometimes there's none, but if there's ever somebody in a group that big with really gifted genetics, I can spot them from across the room and go, that guy, that girl. They stand out. They're different. They have a whole different look. Thank you, Matthew. They were born differently. It's just like, I often say it's like height. How many men in the world are 6'9" or taller? Not many. That's very tall. That's pushing 7 foot. My mindset to compete, once 20, I'm 23. I like to suffer once a year. Yeah, I started competing at 19, and my last show I was 43, so that was 24 years of competing. So if I never compete again, I had a great run. I did about 30 shows. I met so many awesome people, a lot of great memories. Fam here in Orlando. Oh, thanks, Dylan. Yeah. Who you got in Spain show, Nathan or Boo Bandar? Who's Boo Bandar? I don't even know. That's how out of the loop I am. I depend on Giles Tiger Thomas. He's really my connection to the international scene, because I know some of the guys from over in Europe and Middle East, obviously, but I mainly know the ones that come over here to compete. If they've only competed over in Europe or Middle East or Asia or whatever, I typically have no idea who they are. Giles does. Oh, he met Rolly. What did they call him? Were they talking about Rolly? I want to see if Rolly looks closer to the Rolly that we all knew and loved. That Rolly would win that show. Rolly Winkler's Book Bandar. Oh, I don't know. Louis Marco gave him that nickname? Oh, I'm not sleeping on Nathan Dasher for 1 minute. I think Nathan's got incredible physique. Beautiful shape. So much full muscle mass. Those arms, those shoulders. No, Nathan's no joke. No, Nathan could win that show. I wouldn't for 1 minute say, he could very easily win that show, because who are the favorites for the Europa? We got Rolly. Nathan in shape would beat the Rolly that I saw in Chicago, hands down, a couple weeks ago. Camel Crew nickname. Yeah, Camel Crew's been killing it, huh? It's funny. But, geez, where was I? I'm all over the place. Yeah, Rolly, I'm interested to see if Rolly can get his look back. I hope he's not done. I hope this isn't the end of Rolly. James Hollingshead will be a dark horse at Olympia. Absolutely, 100%. James, don't sleep on James for 1 minute. No, he's made vast improvements. He's very, very good. Yeah, he can beat. The Nathan that I've seen in top form would definitely destroy the Rolly that I saw in Chicago a couple weeks ago. Can Rolly get some of his fullness and size back? I don't know. People are trying to figure what happened to Rolly. What's going on with Rolly? So Rolly said he couldn't train for 3 months or 4 months because all the gyms in Curacao were shut down. If that's true, shame on you gym owners in Curacao for not letting Rolly Winkler in to train like when it was after hours or something. Because, I was getting into a gym to train during quarantine. A lot of you guys were sneaking into gyms during quarantine if you knew the owner or whatever. You tell me Rolly, they wouldn't let him in? If that's true, that's pretty bad. How can we meet someday and train? I don't like to train with anybody. I don't. And, it's because I have so many injuries. My training is so individualized for me. I would feel like I was doing anybody else a disservice by making them do what I do, because it works for me. But it's like when I train with my son, he's 21 years old. I feel bad because we do shoulders and I can't do overhead presses with dumbbells and barbells. He should be doing that. He does it on his own when he trains without me. He trains without me most of the time now, but I feel bad. Like, he should be doing that. Like, I won't train legs with him because he should be squatting. I can't squat anymore. My lower back, my knees, it's just not a good idea for me anymore, but he should be squatting. He's 21 years old, so he does. He does legs on his own now. All the secrets will come out if he's on Fuad's show. Yeah. Well, he will be on Fouad's show. Fouad gets everybody, and you know what? He's got a great show going. God, props to Fouad. He's killing it. He's doing the right thing. Same. I love a training partner, but nobody can stick with it. I'm a good training partner. Believe me, I train my ass off. I was blessed. I trained with Jose Raymond many times. I've trained with Dorian. I trained with Lee Haney. No, that's not true. Ronnie Coleman. A lot of pros I was able to train with. Branch Warren. And, this is years ago now, obviously, but before my joints really started breaking down. I would never let them out-train me in terms of intensity. Weight, yeah, certainly these guys were stronger than me in some exercises, if not all. Leg day, I could usually keep up with pretty much almost anyone, even, not Branch. He was squatting way more than me, but things like leg press and hack squat, I used to be really strong on. Hold his size well. Next to the open guys. Do I hold my size next to the open pros? No. If that's what we're talking about? No, I'm just talking about the amateur national level for masters. And even then, I get outsized. No, I'm not bragging about myself. Believe me, I'm not the biggest guy. I don't have the prettiest shape at all. I would never brag about my physique. It's not great at all. It's very good compared to the average guy in the gym. It's somewhere in between a regular gym rat and a pro. It's not a pro physique. Why do I still want a pro card? Because a lot of guys I've beaten are pros now. A lot of guys who I would look better than, I think, in my humble opinion, they're pros now. I'm like, why the hell not? Stand next to them in the... Oh, repeat that question, please. The one you just had, because it already disappeared off my screen. That last question about standing next to them. Can you keep up with John Defender's style of workout? I don't think anybody could. Not too many people. When I was younger, yeah. When I was I'd say between 20 and 40, I had a good 20-year run where I could train my ass off. I could keep up with anybody. And I trained with a lot of different people. Nobody out-trained me. Nobody outworked me. They were stronger than me, but I just had that pit bull mentality. Pit bull like dog, not the rapper. That nobody was going to outwork me. When you do your interviews, stand next to the guys. Oh, thank you. That was actually a compliment. I out-angle, you know what? And this comes up. People troll me, and that's fine. I do, because I'm very self-conscious, and I know these guys are enormous. They're way bigger than me, but I know how to stand. I know how to angle. If you see my pictures, it's always from the same side. I'm a master at angling, and it even translates to the stage. I was always so good at posing in a way that would accentuate my strengths and detract from my weaknesses. Even if it's just shift your hips this way, turn the shoulder a little bit that way, put your foot that way. Because, like I said, I was always up against guys with way better genetics than me. Always. I don't have awesome genetics for bodybuilding at all. Like most of you guys, it's probably a little better. My genetics were probably a little better than average, but they certainly weren't special in any way. Nobody ever saw me in a gym and went, "Oh my God, you should be a pro." Nobody. So, yeah, that's my fake laugh people talk shit about. I don't know why I let the trolls get to me. Why? I'm too old for that shit. I'm almost 52, and I'm letting friggin' 20-year-old keyboard warriors ruin my day. Come on, Ron, you're better than that. But yeah, I do stand to my good side. This is my good side. This is my bad side. This is the arm that, I don't know if you can see the scar. I tore that tricep. I tattooed over. You can kind of see the scar there. It was reattached. But that arm always sucked. That was my worst tricep anyway. I'm not going to Texas Pro. We are going to get some coverage of it. Hector Mendoza, our videographer, photographer, he's going to be there. We're going to get some good coverage. And we're going to be doing a live commentary on this channel, kind of like Fouad and a couple other channels do. It'll be me and a panel watching the live stream and commenting on it. And you guys can follow along and comment, critique, argue, debate, all that good stuff. Rolly triceps. I don't have Rolly could fit both of my arms, bicep and tricep, into one of his triceps. No, that tricep was always way worse. That's why I always hit my shots from the left side. You can see the scare. What's the purpose of the scar? You can't really see the scar. Yeah, both arms. Yeah, I fully, believe me, I know both arms suck, guy. I know. They're my worst body part. My legs, they're better than most bodybuilders at the amateur level. They always respond. I train my ass off. I train them hard and heavy, very intense for many years, and they always responded. I did that for my arms, and they didn't respond. And so, people, well-meaning people have said, well, you got to do this workout, you got to try this. I've tried almost everything. Nobody can say they've tried everything, but I'm still going to go back to the drawing board very soon, try to get them up a little bit because I know that they're very important, very critical body part. Brian Jones can be Bumstead one day. Yeah, Brian, if he fills out, I don't know how close he is to the limit, but man, he's got a crazy physique on him. He just needs to be bigger. Rolly's triceps look like fabricated horseshoe steel. Yeah, Rolly's triceps are the 3 best triceps of all time, in my opinion, are Kevin Levrone, Phil Heath, and Rolly Winkler. That's it. They're insane triceps. We always love and respect you, Ron. Thank you. People can hate. They do hate me, though. I have haters. Max Charles, Tampa Pro Physique Show. What about him? Shaquille, you gotta ask a question. I don't know what you mean by that. Physics. I know, like, whatever language you speak, I don't speak. So I give you props for speaking English because I don't speak whatever language you do. So, but I still can't answer the question if I don't understand the question. Most conditioned tricep, Eduardo Correa. Yeah, there's that famous picture of Eduardo where his tricep had just so many clear, deep cross striations. Yeah, that's goals. I think I used to look at that picture before arm day sometimes because it was very motivating. Eduardo was really good, man. Really great 212 bodybuilder from Brazil. Yeah, I mean, I'm still a fan of the sport. He's asking about Men's Physique Show, Tampa. What does he want to know about Men's Physique? I don't know. The winner was Andre Ferguson. There was no way unless Andre was off. Haters mean you're doing something great, yeah. Yeah, Andre Ferguson, who's a 3-time Arnold Classic champion, 2-time Olympia runner-up, rightful winner of this show. I knew he just had to show up in any kind of shape and he was going to win. Contagious. Yeah, I just want to give a little shout-out to a guy from my gym who I sat next to on the plane. Oddly enough, we were in the seat next to each other on the way down to Tampa. He calls himself Dube, D-U-B-E, digital on Instagram. His real name is Sidube Anene, but he cracked the top 6, man, and that's not easy because there was 40 guys in that damn class. Zancanelli. Oh, what about Zancanelli? I missed that. I don't remember anyone in the show named Zancanelli. We'll see Men's Physique. I only wrote down, because I had to talk about the show, I only wrote down top 6 in the divisions. I don't remember him. I'm sure he looked great. I couldn't judge Men's Physique. There's 2 divisions I always say I couldn't judge. Oh, tricep. I couldn't judge bikini and I couldn't judge Men's Physique because the looks are so similar. Maybe I could judge Men's Physique. Bikini, I would have a hell of a time, though. Hell of a time. To me, like, once you get into the top 10 in bikini, I'd say any one of them looks good enough to me to win. I don't know how you pick a winner out of these freaking perfect-looking women. So props to the judges. I think the judges have a hell of a task. I would never want to judge a pro show like this. I've judged amateur shows, and those are easier because typically the winner stands out. Usually, they're just way better than everybody else at the amateur level, at like a regional, state level show. That's what I've judged. Once you get into national level, it gets much, much harder because the guys are better. The better the athletes are, the harder they are to judge because you're trying to find not the person with the most strong points necessarily, but the person with the least weaknesses. So who's got the best combination of size, shape, structure, conditioning, presentation? So the biggest guy doesn't always win. The most ripped guy doesn't always win. The guy with the best shape doesn't always win. Sometimes it's someone who wouldn't fit any of those categories, but they have the best combination of everything. They're the best, what we call total package. So that's it. Can James Hollingshead be Bonac? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, you know, I can give my opinion, but it doesn't even matter until they're on stage next to each other. We're always assuming everyone is going to be at 100%, and it never ends up that way. It never does. Even at the Olympia, things go wrong. You know, guys, things happen. Like people try to overcarb. Thank you, man. I mean, a good example. Opinion on placing the Tampa Pro Open category. Yeah, we did that in the beginning. Sorry, Mang Kanden. I thought the right guy won. I would have picked Ian for the win. Phil, very, very, very solid second place. Charles Griffin, third, looked awesome. Max Charles always looks really good. Shaban, very impressive too. It was a great top 5. This is a really good show. As we're getting, you know, there's only one more weekend. There's 2 shows next weekend. That's it as far as qualifying for the Olympia. So next weekend is Texas Pro in Dallas, Texas, and then same day, next day in Alicante, Spain is Europa Pro. And that's it. After that, everything's shut down to the Arnold Classic, September 25th. And the Olympia is October 7th, right? 7th, 8th, 9th? I don't know. It's 2 weeks later. How about Ben Chow winning the Lee Labrada Classic? Place in Olympia. What's Phil? Ben Chow does look great. I like Ben a lot. I like his attitude. He's a cool dude. Phil Heath. Dan Solomon, I contacted him last week because there's all these Phil's putting out these things like he might be in Olympia. Some potential top guys won't make it this year. Yeah. I don't know if because Phil has basically a lifetime qualification. All Olympia winners, they're qualified for life. So Phil doesn't need to qualify or anything. Obviously, I think most of you know that. But why is he getting in such good shape? Maybe he's going to jump in. I think the deadline for contracts is, I don't know when it is, but I mean, they were going to let Kai Green sign a contract a few years ago, like 2 or 3 days out from the show. So if Phil wants to jump in, even if he only told them at the last, like a week out from the show, I really doubt they're going to say no. No, Phil, you can't compete in the Olympia. But is he getting ready for the Olympia? I don't know. I'd love to see him up there. Especially it looks like his midsection is tighter than it was. I'd love to see Phil looking the way he did in... To me, Phil's best 2 years were 2010 when he took second to Jay, and I had him winning. A lot of people had him winning that year. 2011, his first of 7 Olympia wins. He was damn near perfect. That Phil Heath, Rami couldn't beat that. I'm sorry. Phil's going to do the Rock Show. Well, the Rock Show isn't happening until, I don't even think they're doing that next year. Top 2 for Olympia. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the top 2 at Alicante, the Europa Pro, they do qualify for the Olympia. Yeah, I'd love to see Phil because Phil has a unique quality to his muscles. He has this really deep, crisp separation and so much detail. When Phil's in great condition, which he always is for the Olympia. I know his hernia, his belly was sticking out as he got really tired. He was relaxed. He couldn't really control his midsection much, but he's always in fantastic shape. So when people say Phil was out of shape or Phil was off, I'm like, no, he wasn't. He couldn't control his midsection toward the end, but he was shredded. What are you talking about? Yeah, so I'd love to see Phil at the Olympia with, Hadi, Rami, Bonac, Kuklo. Jeez, I know I'm forgetting a couple people, but the top Olympia guys, because he always deserves to be there. Phil's best condition beats Ronnie's best, in my opinion? No. Ronnie at his best, and that's debatable when you think he was his best. I liked his look the best at his first 2 Olympia wins, 98, 99, and then again in when he won Arnold in 2001. He was lighter. I think Ronnie at about 250 was crazy. Phil was in great condition. Yeah, Phil was downsized. The 2 areas I saw were mainly his chest and his back. His arms, shoulders, legs, they were still the way they always looked to me. He just lost it somewhere in the torso, and I don't know why. Rolling his abs tattooed. Nah, I don't think that hurts him. Can Sean Roden compete again soon? No. Not until his case is resolved, and I don't know when that's going to happen. Man, the alleged incident, people troll me on this too because they say, why are you on the side of a rape? He hasn't been convicted or anything, so you can't call him this or that unless he's been convicted. So that happened in fall of 2018. He was charged in July of 2019. So it's been now over 2 years since he was charged, and he still has not had his day in court. The legal system was just really impacted by the court system was totally impacted by the quarantine, the pandemic, whatever you want to call it. So everything is so backed up now. But I feel so bad for Sean Roden because he's 45 or 46? He's getting old. He's pushing 50 now. He's getting well into his 40s. He's already missed. This will be the 3rd Olympia he's missed. He's an Olympia champion. He's a Mr. Olympia. And for him not to be able to compete, it's a bummer because I always want to see all the best guys up there that are still competing. I want to see Phil. I want to see Sean. I want to see Kai Green up there. I want to see Rami, Hadi, Rowley, Bonac. I know I'm forgetting one of the top 5 guys. It's going to come back to bite me. You feel Derek Lunsford can win 212? Yeah, absolutely he can win. Will he win? I don't know, but he's capable of winning. Kamal's capable of getting his title back. Sean Clarita is capable of holding on to his title. These guys are so close. They're so good. Kai Green is a troll. Yeah, I like Kai a lot, but the fact that Flex is out of the Olympia this year. He already announced it. Him and his wife are going to try to get pregnant again. Well, she's going to get pregnant, obviously, but he's the one. They want another baby. Don't sleep on Andrea Presti. No, I don't. Under the two Andreas from Italy are very good. It's Muzzi and Presti. No, they're very, very good. I don't know how they'll do at the Olympia. We'll see. You know, it's these predictions are kind of, they're meaningless. I know that's all we have because it's not the most exciting sport, but we do like to try to debate and argue who's going to beat who, what are your top 5 and this and that. But until we see the guys on stage, day of the show, next to each other, pose for pose, you really can't say. Did you see Derek Lentz for guest posing recently? Yeah, he's huge. I don't even know how he's going to make 212. I think it's the next big thing right now. Oh, thank you, Dom. Next big thing, I mean, in open bodybuilding, to me, the most exciting new open bodybuilder is Nick Walker. You know, he's only done a few pro shows. 3, right? Yeah. Oh, 2. Chicago Pro and New York Pro. He's only done 2 pro shows. Is that right? Yeah. So I think Nick is someone in the future. He'll make an impact at the Olympia this year, but I think a year, 2, 3 years from now, he's going to be one of the very top guys. No doubt in my mind. He's just so built. I think we'll be even bigger than Rami anymore. I mean, how much bigger can you get than Rami? Who's going to be bigger than that? It's humble, don't ever change. Thank you. The only guy who's actually bigger than Rami is Morgan Ass from France. Bigger because he's 6'2", 6'3". I think he's 6'3". I think he was like 312 pounds on stage earlier in the year when I saw him at the Indy Pro. That is a monstrous man. Does not have the prettiest structure or shape, no. But certain poses where you really can't tell the structure, he's just, it's mind-blowing how much muscle and the condition that guy gets into, Morgan Asti? I don't know. I didn't take French. I took Spanish. I think it's Est. I don't know. You guys can correct me. Anyway, guys, I've gone on long enough. I think the Classic Physique will be the dominant league. No. Can CBum ever be defeated? Sure. Anybody can be defeated. Anybody on a given day. I don't know who's going to be the person that could beat him, but man, I've seen all the greats, unless they retired at the top of their game like Lee Haney did. And Dorian, you know, he was already on the decline. He had already torn a bicep, then he tore a tricep. Dorian quit while the getting was, he got out while the getting was good, as we say, because I think he would have gotten beaten just based on all the injuries he had, which, you know, he trained like a freaking beast. It was bound to happen, I think, sooner or later, because he never let up the gas. He never took his foot off the gas the whole time he was Mr. Olympia. He trained 100%, heavy all the way up to the show, intense. Now he realizes, he said a few times, I should have backed off a little bit, but he didn't. Rolly Winkler, if he gets his act together. Yeah, Rolly at his best. Rolly at the 2018 Olympia when he got 3rd and was a people's champion, he was great. That's the best Rolly I ever saw. Can you bring Evan Sinapani? I don't think Evan's competing this year. I try to get Evan every few months for an interview. I don't like to bother him too much. He's a busy guy, but I always love talking to Evan. Evan's one of my favorite guys in the sport. I could talk to Evan all day. Just a good dude. He's somebody, even if I wasn't even in this industry anymore, I would still keep in touch with him. He's a good guy. All right, guys, I've gone on enough. I appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe to the channel. And remember, we got tons and tons of pictures on musculardevelopment.com of the Tampa Pro. If you go to contests, there's a contest gallery. The homepage gives you links to everything anyway. You can just click on that. But we have all the contest pictures up. We have tons of videos. We will be posting stage videos starting tomorrow. All those people that were posting shit yesterday and today from the live stream, they're all in major violation of, you know, copyright and all that. And I wouldn't do that because I get press passes and I'm not going to risk that. But these people, they don't care. Anyway, we will have stage video. We did shoot video, but out of respect for the pay-per-view and because that's the policy, we wait until Monday to post those. But we'll have Ian, Max, Phil. We'll have all the top posing routines. We'll have the first call-outs in all the divisions. But of course, you know, most of you want to see Open, 212, and Classic. We have all that. And one last shout out to that kid that won Classic from Germany, Urs Kalaczynski. Very bright future. 22 years old, still has 10 pounds more in the division to grow. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's it. Like the videos, please. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Do all that good stuff. I probably should say it at the beginning of the videos, but I always forget. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great Sunday.